Hello and welcome to the Stitching Over the Days podcast. This is episode 31. My name is Constance and I want to thank any returning viewers and also any new viewers. Thank you for taking a moment out of your day to hear all about my sewing, knitting, and crochet adventures. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as cleocmc, that's C-L-E-O-C-M-C, and I also have a Ravelry group, Stitching Over the Days, and show notes are at yarningoverthedays.wordpress.com. Okay, it's been a while, and so I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, and I did not want the month of February to end before I did a podcast because I do typically like to do at least one episode every month. And so I'm going to get started. As you all know, I don't know if you all know, but the last episode was in December, and I did craft quite a bit, did a lot of knitting mainly because I mainly knit when I'm home. And so I mainly did that in December, and I also have been knitting a lot in January because it's just a portable craft and it fits when you're like moving about with a busy schedule. And so I haven't done much sewing and no crochet for this episode. So yes, as you all know, or those who have watched before, I've been making the Anyday Sweater. All of my nieces really love that sweater, and I received 2 requests, and then my other niece wanted a sweater also, and so I was like really trying to make those sweaters before Christmas, and I finished the 4th Anyday Sweater for my niece on Christmas morning at 11:45, I believe. I woke up really early at 6 a.m. and I was trying to like get it done, and I did finish it. And I don't have it here with me, and I have a story about that version also. But let me give you some details about it. The Anyday Sweater is a design by Lily Kate France, and I made myself a version in Rowan Brush Fleeced. I forgot the name of the color, but it was their red color wave from that. And then I made their versions in Knit Picks Wonder Fluff, which is a good comparison. And the color that I made for my niece for Christmas, the one that I finished on Christmas morning, that color was bare because she loved white and she wanted a white sweater. And so it turned out absolutely beautiful and lovely. And what I did, because with the other 2 versions that I made for my other nieces, I did wet block it using the soap solution, and then I dipped it for 15 minutes, took it out, and then just let it lie flat on the blocking mat. Well, I didn't have time to do that Christmas morning. So what I did was I just put it on a towel, and then I put a damp cloth over it, and then I blocked it with the iron over the damp cloth, and that worked out nicely. And I think I kind of got that idea because Alice Starr Moore, she sometimes suggests that for some of her patterns, and I said, hey, and it worked out quite nicely, really lovely. So Christmas came, they all loved their sweaters, and we took photos in them, and I will insert those photos at the end. And yeah, so they were really nice. And my youngest niece, who had the white version, she loved that sweater. She wore it so much, and so I would see it popping up and see her wearing it to school, like on social media and things like that. And even when I was home briefly, she wore it. So she loved the sweater. Now, before I gave them the sweater, I gave them the speech about how to take care of wool. I said it over and over and over again. Then when I saw them last week, I said, oh, how are your sweaters holding up? They showed them to me. I said, remember, don't put it in a washing machine. Hand wash it. Soak it, hand wash it, put a little detergent in, it'll be fine. And it's like, we know. Well, I was about to go to bed yesterday. It was around 11 p.m. and I received a message from one of my nieces, and she said, oh, Destiny put her sweater in the washing machine, and she sent me an image. And I was like, no. That's literally what I texted back, no, to her. And so Destiny, she's definitely knit worthy. She wore the sweater so much. She loved the sweater. She even wore my red version when I came home because she just loves that pattern, and she just likes the feel of that yarn. And so I was just like, wow. I told her over and over, and then she was saying, I know you told me and I remembered, but I put it in the dirty clothes, forgot it was in there. they just picked up all of the clothes and it was tossed into the wash. And so it's small now, smaller than what it was supposed to be. And so my niece Aaliyah was the one who told me about the ruined sweater. So then I received a message from Destiny, and she was like, oh, I made a mistake and threw it in the wash. May you make me another? At that point, I already knew I was going to make her another. And so I said yes. So, and then we went back and forth about the color, and she said she still wanted to stay with the same color. So I'm going to place an order to make another Anyday sweater. This is my 5th version, and it's going to be in the same color, same size, everything. And I do remember though, she said she felt that the cuffs were a bit tight. I know Destiny, she likes comfy, roomy clothes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let out that cuff just a bit on her newer version. But that's the only modification I plan to make for that new version. And I had almost a skein and a half of yarn left from that previous version, so I won't have to order as much yarn. So I'm going to place an order for the Knit Picks Wonder Fluff and Bear. I hope it's in stock. And then I'm going to get started on that sweater. And I trust that she will not ruin it again, and that she's going to be more careful. That's what my sister said. She's like, I know she won't mess it up again. So, and I think her mother will be watching her next time. So that's one finished object, which I don't have an image to, well, I don't have it here with me to share with you. And even if I did, it wouldn't look how it was supposed to look. So yeah, but at least she got about 2 months wear out of it. And then whenever I go home, I finish socks quite a bit. And I finished these socks by the designer's Dawn Landis. These are her line socks. And I used not Knit Picks. I used Quince & Company's Finch yarn, which I absolutely love, so much so that I ordered a couple of skeins more in different colors to make more socks. And this color is Lichen. It was such a fun knit, and it was such a rewarding knit, and I want to make some more socks in the same yarn and also with the same pattern. I really enjoyed it so much, and I wore the socks quite a bit over the holidays because I mean it's cold and chilly outside, and I also dress a bit more casual when I'm at home. So I wore it with my sneakers, with my Oxfords, with my boots. And look, you guys, absolutely no pilling. Yes, it's great yarn. I love it. Not Knit Picks, Quince & Company's Finch is amazing, and they have such a wide range of colors, so there's plenty to choose from. And just keep Dawn Landis in your thoughts and prayers. She lost her loved one recently, her significant other. So yes, that was a wonderful pattern, and I enjoyed it so much, and I love these socks, and I think that these will look really great in the summer also with my kids. Yes. Okay, another, I don't think I have to put them on the blockers, but I did another pair of socks over the holidays because whenever I'm with family, I just really enjoy simple projects. And these were vanilla socks, and this is with Patton's Croy and blue striped rag, and I think I did a really good job of matching up the stripes. I did a contrast heel with Mayflower First Class yarn. It's a yarn that I picked up when I was in Denmark a few years ago, and I just like, oh, and I did a contrast toe also. And I really like these, so it was just a perfect mindless knit, and I finished them on my birthday, December 29th, so I called them my birthday socks. And my vanilla recipe is I did a 2x2 cuff for 1 inch, 56 stitches cast on. I did the slip stitch heel, which I really love, it's my favorite. And I forgot, well, I did a standard toe, but yeah. And so yes, it's a good mindless knit, and I really enjoyed just working them up while I was with friends and family over the holiday break. And I did block them as I did with the other socks. I used the soap solution and I put them on the sock blockers, and that's why it has this really neat flat finish that I like. Then when I came home, now this is my 4th finished object that I just recently finished about a couple of weeks ago. And this is a design by the amazing Alistair Moore, and it is the Monteach cardigan. Now I saw this cardigan, they posted it on their Instagram sometime last year around November, the month of November, and as soon as I saw it, I just was like, wow, that is so beautiful. And it's actually just a different colorway of a previous design, which is the Meadow Sweet cardigan, which I plan to cast on, and I still have plans to do that. But when I saw that colorway, I was like, oh, I love the colors. They're so rich, they're so vivid, and I could just imagine it in my wardrobe. So I immediately placed an order because I loved it that much. And it's funny because my next Alistair Moore project was going to be Mary Queen of Scots. But I saw the Monteach and I just fell for it. And I wanted to immediately cast it on. But as you know, I was making the sweaters for Christmas. And so that put a pause on my casting the project on. So as soon as I came back to South Carolina from the Christmas break, I started it. Now this was a part of my 30 minutes a day project, and I love doing that because it really helps me to focus and not get distracted and to complete a garment. And so it's a really simple strategy. Just pick up a project and knit on it for at least 30 minutes a day. And of course, whenever I get into the zone of knitting, those 30 minutes, typically it's very rare that I only do 30 minutes. Some days I do an hour, some days 2 hours, some days even 6 hours. Most days I knit in the evenings when I'm around 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. And so that's typically what I would do. So I was working on it consistently, and you guys, I'm just so happy with how my Fair Isle skills are progressing and improving. And I would have never imagined, I could have never imagined that I could really work up a Fair Isle garment in less than a month. And so it was fun. And this is my first time doing like a corrugated ribbing. I thought it was so beautiful. Well, I guess I should show you my cardigan in more detail instead of showing the image. So this is the cardigan. And I just think it's so beautiful. It's even more stunning now that I physically have it here with me and it's all worked up. Now, I did the same thing that I typically do with Alistair Moore patterns, because the finished bust was 89 centimeters, and that was larger than my bust. So I went down 2 needle sizes to get a bit more negative ease, and I did a gauge swatch, and I was happy with it. So, and I worked the gauge swatch in the round, and yeah, so I was happy with it. I thought, okay, you know, but if you'll see now that I'm looking at it, it's not that much give. So I was like, I'm going to go for negative ease. So I worked up all of the pieces in the cardigan. I was starting to look at it, and I was like, I think this might be a bit too much negative ease. I was thinking it was going to be too tight. So finally seamed it all up. I seamed using the back stitch. And because I was concerned about that it was a bit too tight, I also added, check my Ravelry notes for details, but I'm just going from memory. But I think I added 3 additional rows to the ribbing, and to give it a bit more room. And so I seamed it all up using the back stitch, and I was like, okay, time for the try on, because that's how it is with traditional Fair Isle garments. You're working in the round, and then you open the steeks. And I tried it on with it when it was just a vest version. I was like, okay, it's kind of all right, but I hope it grows a bit more. So this was before blocking. So when I seamed all the pieces together, I was like, oh, it was tight. It was like tight. And I was saying this in my Insta stories because I always try to document how the process is going along. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And so I was like, oh, I'm going to have to do a heavy blocking, which I don't like to do. And I was like, I just hope it turns out. I hope it turns out all right. So I did a heavy blocking. And I actually used knocker blockers, you know, the white kind of flat blocking pins that's all together. And I used it, and I stretched it out as far as it would go, and I did it lengthwise, and I was just hoping and hoping that it would fit. And so then finally dry, I put a fan in it because I was just so anxious for it to be done. And so the next morning I tried it on, and I was just like, okay, it fits. Would I have liked a bit more positive ease? Yes, but it fits. Yes, I could button it up. So then I wore it that day. We had an event. We've been so busy at my job. I work for the Civil Rights Center here at the university. And so it's understandable. I mean, we're busy year round, but we're super busy during Black History Month. So I wore it to a Black History Month event that evening. And as I wore it throughout the day, and it did get, I feel like it's like I broke the cardigan in. Is that I never, like you breaking a pair of stiff shoes. And it seems to have gotten more comfortable. And I've worn this cardigan at least, I know I've worn it every week, sometimes twice a week since I've made it. And the more I wear it, the more fluid it gets and more comfortable. And so the fit is definitely better. And so I think that now that I know, I don't know if my tension was tighter or what went on, or also because it was stranded throughout the garment with multiple yarns. So I'm not sure if that was a factor, but now that I know what to do in the future. So I tried to take this as a learning lesson for my future Fair Art garments, which I plan for quite a few more in my future. For example, the sister cardigan, I'll call it, to this, which is the Meadow Sweet cardigan by Alice Moore. So when I do that, I definitely won't go for such a tight gauge next time. But overall, I'm super, super happy with it. I love Alice Moore patterns. The yarn is simply divine. It's amazing to work with. I just could look at the colors forever and the undertones, and they always work harmoniously together, so beautifully together. And I love this. I love this cardigan, and I also love that it matches almost everything. I've mainly worn it with I've worn it with navy blue. I've worn it with a plum Freya top that I made to go with it, which I'll share with you in a minute. And I even like how it looks with this green turtleneck. So I think that it's just going to be a staple, and I think I'm going to wear it just as much as I wear my Jane Seymour and my Elizabeth of York, which I wear this the most. But I've been wearing it quite often. So yeah, I just constantly rotate the Alice Moore garments I have throughout the week. So I'm so happy with it. I love it. This was a kit from Virtual Yarns, and so the yarn is Alice Moore's Haberdine 2-ply, and all of the colors and everything is listed on my Ravelry page. And also, if you go to Virtual Yarns website, if you're not on Ravelry, then they have the colors listed if you're curious to know which colors were used for this cardigan. But I love it so much. One thing also I learned from creating this is that corrugated rib is so tight. I didn't do a gauge for it. It's actually stretched out way more since I've been wearing it quite a bit, but man, is it tight. And so at first when I put it on, I was like, oh, you know, but it all worked out. But I can't wait to make the Meadow Sweet one day and go for a bit more positive ease. But I'm happy with it. And what I'll do is I'll share the twirls of myself wearing the garment, and also images of the details of the garment at the end of the video. I'm going to try something new with the format this year in 2020, because I think that the reason why when I have long periods between podcasts is because I kind of think about the editing, which takes a while. And so I'm thinking that if I just do the podcast talking portion first and put the twirls at the end, then that would be easier for editing, and it'll go by much quicker than trimming little bits in between. So we'll see how it goes, and I hope you like that new format. So I'll put all of the images and also the twirls in the cardigan at the end of the video. So that is it. No, that is not it for my finished object. I did sew a garment just to match with my Monteach cardigan, and it was from Tilly and the Buttons stretch book, and it is the Freya top, which I'm wearing a Freya right now. I have a lot of Freyas. They work so well, such a versatile piece. But it is the Freya top from her book. And this time I went for short sleeves because I like wearing turtlenecks, and I wanted, and this also is a much lighter, if you can already see that it's drapier. This is Ponte fabric here. For most of my versions, they're Ponte. But this time I went for a drapier, I think it's cotton jersey. I found it at Joann's, and I love that plum color. As soon as I saw it, I was thinking about the Monteach, because I felt that I didn't even get the kit yet, but I was in Joann's, and I knew the kit was on the way, and I said, ooh, that would look really nice with it, with like my plum corduroy skirt. And that's how I styled it and how I wore it the first day. And I also wore that exact same outfit like the following week to my niece's Black History program. And so, yes, the only difference with this version from my other versions is it's quite a few differences, because I made it that morning. So I made it a shorter length sleeve. This sleeve comes right above the elbow. I really like that. And also, I did not finish my inside with the serger. I simply did zigzag stitch throughout. And knit fabric doesn't fray, so I knew it would be no problem. And so it's as you can see, the seams, I turned the inside out. They're not finished. I just trimmed them down to reduce the bulk. And that works. And I'm happy with it. And I like this top quite a bit. I actually think I want to wear it tomorrow, but we'll see. And again, I think I stated, but the fabric came from Joann stores. Okay, so that is it for my finished objects. I hope I'm doing good on the time. Okay, let's talk about my works in progress. I have a couple that I want to share with you, and one is kind of further away, so I'll be right back. Okay, so this project I've been working on during the stitching circles at my local yarn store, and it is my Cozy Cardigan by Weston. I didn't work on it much over the holidays, and let me get an image of it for you. But it's a great knit for when you're socializing, and it's just a beautiful garment. I think it's like, it looks comfy and casual, yet it has beautiful details that I really like. So I haven't been to the stitching circles for a couple of weeks now, and so because I only pick it up during the stitching circle, I haven't made much progress, and I actually stopped kind of in the middle of the row, which I usually don't do. So I finished the sleeve, and I've started working the body. This is so hard to show. It's like a mess. Okay. So yes, this is the sleeve. It's going to be like that. And then also this part will fold under. See? Like that. You can get an idea. And right now I'm doing the body for 20 centimeters before I do some short row shaping. So I'm using Rowan Felted Tweed, because Jim did a version in Rowan Felted Tweed and I fell for it. I love Rowan Felted Tweed. My colors are Treacle, Clay, and what is the orange called? The main color is Ginger. Is it? I don't know why I want, oh, there it is. Yes, Ginger. But as you can see, I just love tweed yarn. It's one of my favorite yarns to work with because I just love the flex of different colors under it. So I haven't made as much progress on that, but I think that I'm going to have to set a deadline for myself to push myself to complete it, because it really has been on the needles too long, and I just feel like I don't want it to languish away and to become, I don't want it to get into that hibernating stage. So I will probably put a date on myself to finish it, and I'll let you all know what date I impose on myself. And I have another work in progress. And I said that I wanted to make this. Okay, I'm a big fan of Tudor Roses. I think it's probably now my favorite knitting collection, knitting book. I've made 2 garments from it, and I have plans to make, I think I have plans to make most of the garments in the book, except, let's see. I'm just going down the list to see what it is I want to make. Yes, I want to make every single thing in this book. And so I even like have an idea of what I want to make this year, and then I'll do another plan for next year. So this year from the Tudor Roses it's my goal. I want to complete 3 garments from it. I want to do the Mary Queen of Scots, and I feel that I could do the Mary Queen of Scots because it's worked with the 3-ply yarn, so it should work up quicker. And I have started it, and it is working up surprisingly fast, but I haven't made as much progress on it as I should because, as I've stated, super busy. And so I just get on it, and I haven't really started the 30 minutes a day strategy with it yet. And I don't know if I'm going to do that because I'm going to place an order for the yarn for the Anyday Sweater. And I'm really trying to hope, I want to finish my niece's Anyday Sweater within like a week and then get it in the mail to her. And so she could wear it because she's upset. And so, but I'm going to just fit in time and get it done when I can. And I definitely have a goal to complete this Mary Queen of Scots. What is it? We're about to be in the month of March. I would love to finish it by the end of March. We'll see. Okay, I've talked about it quite a bit, but let me find an image to share with you so you can get an idea of how it's supposed to look. So this is the design. Oh, let me see if this, I don't know if you can see, but it is quite beautiful. I love the peplum. I love the ruffles. I love the texture of the jacket. And I actually really love the colors of the original garment. Green is my favorite color, and I love that bog bean color from Virtual Yarns. It is so beautiful. It's like my kind of green. I mean, I love all shades of green, but that green is just like, I love it so much. But yeah, it's worked in bog bean. But since I did my Jane Seymour in green, I didn't want to do too many green garments. So this time I changed out the colors for Torment Teal, Golden Plover, and Corn Crepe. And I've completed some of the back. And I really like the colors. And can you just see why I love Alistar Moore's Hebridean 2-ply and 3-ply, because that's 3-ply in the body portion, because you could really see those beautiful undertones that really just make the yarns complement each other so beautifully. And I also think that's why her garments typically go with so many things in my wardrobe, because of those undertones of the colors. Now, when I was working this up, as always, I even felt that it was a bit roomy, the version in the book, and I wanted it to fit me. Like, I love the fit of my Elizabeth of York, how it comes in, and I would love for my Mary Queen of Scots to fit like that, like to come in and then have the peplum come out. And so I went down 2 needle sizes, but and then I was measuring it according to the schematics, and it was still actually 1 centimeter larger than the suggested width. So I was like, oh. So what I did was, at that point, I did like this much of the body. I did this much of the body. So I ripped it back, and then I went cast on with a smaller set of needles, because the thing is, I don't want to go too, I don't want to keep going down needle sizes. Okay, sorry, my battery ran out. But I didn't want to go down too many needle sizes, because I didn't want to change like the drape, is that what I'm trying to say, of the fabric. So I just went down 1 needle size, and it did decrease my width by 2 centimeters, but it's still not, it isn't going to fit as closely as I would like how the Elizabeth of York is going to fit. But then I've been going back and forth, and I've just been kind of looking at it, but I still think that it's going to fit nicely. Like, I always do a test with the garments, and like when I'm looking at it at the waist, because this part will be seamed. So, and this is about at the side, so it looks like it'll fit kind of like that, which I still think is a really nice fit. And so I was like, okay, so it won't be as close of a fit, but I still think it's going to be a really nice fit. And so I'm thinking I'm going to stay with it, because I also am having so much fun. See, that's the thing. With Alistar Moore garments, I find them to be so much fun. I mean, too much fun, so much that I could get distracted. So I sometimes have to like hide it from my eyesight, because I'll just want to work on that and neglect all of the things I need to do. So I have to like hide it so I don't get tempted by it. And so this is the same for this garment. And so I'm having so much fun with it. And I was like, I don't want to spend the entire time when I'm working up the garment ripping it back when I don't think that there's a need. And I think that the fit is going to work out nicely. So I can't wait to share with you all how it turns out. But I'm having fun with it, and I think it's beautiful, and I just love the details of her designs as always. I would love to finish this back because honestly the pattern works up super quickly. It's easy to memorize. The peplum section does take time, but this part, oh my goodness, it works up so fast. I think like I could finish the back if I had time within like a day, but I just been working on it when I could fit it in. So I don't know. I would love to finish the back like by Tuesday, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. But I definitely don't want it to go beyond a week before I finish it. So yes, I still don't think I'm going to have it be a 30-minute a day project, because I also want to cast on I don't know if you're active on Instagram, but there's the Nubian Queen pullover, and it came out, and I always loved that design. And so I have yarn coming from Knit Picks to create that design, so I want to cast that on too pretty soon. But at the moment, this is like my temptation. This is the garment that I just want to knit on like all the time. That's how it always is with Alice R. Morris pattern. I just want to just make only that design because I always find it so much fun. They're so much fun. But yes, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. And I want to finish it definitely. My sister and I think I mentioned this some episodes back, we're going to be in, we're actually going to do London and, well, I forgot what parts. I have to look at the itinerary, but we're going to England and Scotland this summer in June. And so I want to finish it before then. So yes, that is how that's coming along. And we're almost to the end of the podcast. I just wanted to share with you what I'm wearing today, which you've pretty much already seen. I'm wearing my Elizabeth York, a design from Tudor Roses, the book I just shared, with a Freya top, a design by Tilly and the Buttons. And I'm wearing it with my Butterick 5-4-6 fit skirt, which I wear all the time. And so, I now want to move into the Kim Hargreaves Along winners. First, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone that entered. It was so much fun. That was the first knit along that I ever hosted, and I just really enjoyed creating the garments that the two Kim Hargreaves garments that I created, and I wear those a lot. And I love that the knit along gave me the drive and the push to get those garments done, and I just learned so many tips from the knit along, and I'm just so grateful to everyone who entered. And I wish I could give you all a gift, so but I can't. But I did try to have as big of a giveaway as I can. So we have 3 winners for the Kim Hargreaves Along, and I have already sent messages to all of the winners, and 2 have responded so far. I haven't opened the messages yet, but I know they've responded. But the winners were Lisa Katke, Lisakatki. Then we have Nick Mag 45, NIC MAG 45, and also Showen 31-D. That's SCHOEN 31-DE. And I sent them messages, but I wanted to share with you. I wanted to give the winners something that I love, something that I enjoy, and all of the publications are in my own personal library also. And so I just purchased those again for the winners. So first I purchased some locally dyed yarn from my local yarn shop, and this is Skein Deep yarn. And this is one color. It is called Bard's Ink. I thought this purple was really beautiful. What is it? It's called Campanula. And then, of course, I had to put a green in there, and it's called Folly Beach Surf. So beautiful. So each winner will receive a skein of yarn, and this is locally dyed here in Columbia, South Carolina, and it is by Catalina, and she works at the yarn shop, and she's amazing, and I love her. She has a really great eye for color. And the books that will be a part of the giveaway include one of Kim Hargrave's recent collections, Myth. I have a copy of this, and I can't wait to create garments from it. And I figured since the winner participated in the Kim Hargrave Salon, they would be a fan. It's, oh, such beautiful designs in this book. I wonder if did I share it in the previous podcast? I may have. And I also have a copy of, for another winner, Rowan's 40-year publication. And it has designs from all of their top designers: Brandon Mabley, Kay Fassett, Kim Hargraves, Martin Story, and many more. So, and then the final, it's not really a publication per se, but it's a book that I use quite often, and I thought maybe more knitters would love it, and it's called Knitting Notes. I don't know if you can see that, but it has a really nice, clean, minimalist design. And here's my version of my knit notes, and it's more battered. But I love it because it's by Lina Publications, or Lina Magazine, and you can like keep track of your, it's kind of like, you know how on Ravelry you keep track of your projects, but this is more of a physical copy, and the librarian slash archivist in me loves that. For example, you could have a session. I usually share like why I started a design, the motivation behind it, and then you have like, you can put the designer, the yarn you use, your gauge. It's all here in the book. And what I do is I also keep my swatches like in the back of the book. So here are swatches from recent projects, and I just keep them in the back. Then they have blank pages, and with the blank pages you can put images. For example, these are images of my Jane Seymour in the book, and I do the same thing, like images of my Elizabeth of York. And I need to update my Knitting Notes book, because I haven't updated with my Winterfield cardigan. I have to put the story behind that, and also I need to put in my Monteach cardigan, and also my Harton jacket by Kim Hargraves. But I love it. It's really great to have, and I've gifted it to knitting friends, and they always love them. And so I wanted to include that in the giveaway, and I hope that you enjoy it also. Okay, so that is it for today's podcast. I am sorry for the delay, and it's just been so busy. As you all know, I'm writing and I'm also working, and I just could not fit it in, and then I've been traveling back and forth for family, and so I'm happy that I was able to get it in and get it done today. So that is it, and I'll see you all next month, and I can't wait to share with you how all of my projects are going. Bye!